Okay, this is not the usual voice you hear. This is editor Aaron, who is editing the podcast as we speak on January 15th, 2022 at 9:40 p.m. The episode you're about to hear is actually coming out in a week, so on the 22nd, 23rd, whatever that Sunday is. We had recorded 2 hours of Batman Returns deep dive discussion and conversation. We originally thought, we'll just release the second part a couple of days later. But since both episodes are considerably lengthy and in-depth and deep, we made the decision that we would actually split them into their own separate episodes. So today you will hear the first hour of the Batman Returns deep dive. Next week, you will hear the next episode, which is going to be the second half of the Batman Returns deep dive. We promise it's good. It's worth waiting for. Thank you for listening, and here comes your podcast. Typically none.
Really? I mean, because you're going to get to voice that opinion, but you're going to have to back it up.
We are now recording, and we are in process. Welcome to the podcast. This is Nerds by Screenlight. My name is Aaron.
And I'm James.
And we have a guest in the house. His name is
Dallas,
not from Dallas.
like the city. Spelled like the city, just not from there.
Yeah, doesn't have an accent, not from Texas. So Dallas is here to join us for our podcast. We're talking about Batman Returns today.
But we've totally thrown him into it, too. Yeah. Like, he is, he's stiff and nervous.
He's in the deep end.
He's sweating over there. The hands are shaking.
I got nothing.
He's got mom's spaghetti all over him.
Oh, no. I don't have the license for that song.
You should.
Yeah,
I'm gonna add nothing of use.
I'll call up Universal Studios, Universal Music. I don't know who owns that music actually. Okay, so the opener for today is pizza preferences. What is your pizza preference? Like, if you were to walk into the best pizza place in the world, what would that be?
Yeah, what are you doing? Like, what's your
Let's go for the ultimate controversial Hawaiian. Yeah, pineapple.
Do you like pineapple on your pizza?
That's right.
Oh no, I'm actually not against that. I actually like pineapple on pizza.
This is
pineapple on pizza.
This is weird. I'm a pineapple person as well.
Okay,
there are not many of us out there.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, wow, all three of us. That's why, like, to hear him say that at first, I was kind of like, ooh.
Right. Yeah. There's not many of us out there.
I think we just lost half our listeners.
I know.
We've just been written off.
Sacrilege.
Yeah.
Blasphemy!
Dare you like pineapple on your pizza?
All right. Well, we'll be when we come back from our intro. We actually have some feedback we've gotten, and Dallas gets to kind of ride along when we react to this, and then we will start with Batman Returns, and it is going to be, as JR on WWE Raw would say, a slobber knocker, because me and James had a pre-discussion at Zazzy Cafe earlier today.
Yeah, and a folding chair went flying.
Yeah, we were stomping.
It was mayhem.
It was
mayhem. The ref got knocked out.
Yeah,
it was bad.
Yeah, the entrance music hit, and Stone Cold Steve Austin came in. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll be right back on Nerds by Screenlight. So buckle up, hold on, and strap into something, because it's going to be a wrestling match. Stand by.
Get nerdy with me. Talk nerdy to me. Get nerdy with me. All I really need for you to do is just please.
I can stop.
Talk to me. Talk nerdy to me.
Welcome back to the podcast.
You can start with that chuckle. It's okay.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Solo. And so we had some feedback from an individual, and you actually know how to, I won't say his last name. First name is Marshall, and he's given us feedback over the last couple of weeks, and it's been very helpful feedback. So the first bit of feedback, and James doesn't even know what this feedback is.
Yeah.
And neither does Dallas, obviously. But 2 weeks ago, this was on the episode 5, the comics episode.
Okay.
And Marshall said, "Great episode, Aaron and James. I just finished watching the previous 4 episodes, and I love the combination of analysis and banter." Oh,
sweet.
We're winning it. We're winning.
Yeah, we're doing good.
I think that's what I appreciate about this show. There's a lot of podcasts that talk about movies, shows, comics for sure, but yours offers a much more analytic breakdown. With this in mind, here comes the butt.
Yeah, okay, that was the
big
butt.
hairy butt. No.
I have a couple of ideas, but I definitely don't want to mess with your mojo. I don't mess with our mojo. Our mojo's good. We got strong mojo.
You drilled into the ice and took our mojo.
How dare you? One of the aspects I like is you don't always agree, but you do respectfully offer insights and arguments, which is our brand. That could go either way depending on perspectives. I like how Marshall writes. Marshall writes with big words.
Yeah, I like this.
He brings me joy. What if you all did a top 10 list based on some themes such as horror, sci-fi, or whatever? Maybe seasonal, Christmas or Valentine's Day. Oh, Valentine's Day. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. It's perfect.
It's perfect. Perfect. Oh, okay, Dallas.
Well, come on.
Love it.
You two are like taken men, so you have to do
That's
this.
true. We do
ritual.
have to do the chick flips.
I get to go buy chocolates for myself.
I'll buy chocolates for myself.
It's got real dark real quick. Okay, so maybe seasonal, whatever, and discuss each and why you chose the film or show, or you could do something like a versus episode where you each pick the film that you think defines a certain genre and discuss why you chose that particular film. Again, just a suggestion. I think the banter would be great, and it would give us as viewers two different viewpoints to consider. At any rate, keep up the great work. Thank you, Marshall, for that.
Thank you, Marshall. That's
lovely.
nice.
His
good
next
feedback.
His next comment was 5 days ago, and this was on episode 7, which was our year in review and looking forward.
Okay.
He said, "Good episode. I noticed that Aaron talked a lot about his teaching. That's my day job, which opens the door for me to ask, what film, TV shows would you recommend for teachers and to show to students in class? A fresh list would be great, or even dedicating a list as a segment of the should be of that would be great. Honestly, a lot of students have been saying using Shawshank Redemption, Good Will Hunting, and a list of other usual literary adaptations are good, but they're played out and they're old.
Yeah.
They also see these movies over and over by their previous teachers so that the ticket has been punched. I'm curious anyway. I enjoyed learning about your hobbies. Aaron, is your novel available for reading? Not yet. I'm working on it. If so, link. James, you are referring to the Death Corps of Krieg for your 40K army."
No, I'm not doing Death Corps. I would love to.
Okay.
But getting those models right now, they're really expensive.
Okay.
They release some plastic ones that you can get, which are
Okay.
cool.
Right.
But they just don't have like the full corpse out there. So you can play the mini version of
Okay.
Kill Team
Okay.
and get like Death Corps.
I didn't understand any of that reference.
Okay, well, do you want me
I
to
don't
tell you
either.
about them?
Dallas has hand raised momentarily through that comment.
Okay.
What did you want to throw in?
Yeah, what do you want to throw in?
Or do you remember?
Sometimes you just gotta
Give me a minute.
Sometimes you just gotta
give
stick
it
your
a
foot in that
moment.
doorway.
Oh, yeah.
There it is.
Yeah,
We got it. Came back around.
Aaron had mentioned this once upon a time in one of our chats, and he wanted to bring this to his class. There is an edited version of Holy Grail
Really?
that removes the whole castle scene.
Okay.
okay.
So
the
you
troublesome
missed
castle
that part,
Okay.
but there is language in it
yeah.
that would
Oh.
be
Questionable.
no, it's not even questionable. But from a you mentioned this from a literary standpoint, like if you want to get into some very solid satire
Yeah, absolutely.
on
Oh my gosh.
even then for the time,
Yeah.
because what was Holy Grail, 70s?
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, even for that time, now still holds true 50 years later,
Oh, yeah.
which is so good.
We could actually do an episode all about satire and
Yeah.
stuff we've watched with satire. There's a lot of cool satire stuff out there. We actually do a unit of it here in my language arts classroom, where we look at some SNL sketches that are very satirical, and it's pretty fantastic. So yeah, there we go.
Oddly, it's not David S. Pumpkins, even
What?
though that's an amazing segment in Saturday Night Live.
I don't watch
It is
SNL.
Tom Hanks.
Oh, okay.
And it is a Halloween sketch.
Okay.
Really?
It's not satirical, it's just weird.
Okay.
But it is hilarious.
Okay.
Tom Hanks is good.
Put that
I
on
like
my
Tom
list.
Hanks.
Okay. Well,
But yeah, we'll get into I can tell you about the Death Corps. But
okay.
No.
We'll put that on the list. The ever
But
growing
the army
list.
I'm building
Pin
is
it.
the Black Templar.
Okay.
So
I still have no reference.
just for you nerds out there, we'll talk about Warhammer 40K at some point in the future, but
Yeah.
that's gonna be heavy because there's so much lore to cover.
Yeah, the mythology is huge and
Yeah.
heavy. Well, speaking of mythology and heavy, this is the Batman Returns episode of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it last night. Dallas actually recently rewatched it,
Yep.
and James has watched it in the last week or so.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting about what's about to happen in this conversation is today, and you can't see this because we don't do it on video, but I looked at James when he walked into the cafe where I work part-time, and I said, "James, I watched Batman Returns." He's like,
He was so happy.
I was like, what?
He was glowing.
I was.
It's like a girl that just got her hair did
I was-
and is just glowing and happy.
I was glowing, I admit. And I said, Batman Returns is one of it was what I said. What did you think? He's like, he's like, I was like, okay, well, here's what I think. And I said, it is one of the best Batman movies, and I followed it up with of all time. And the look on James's face let me know I was in for a drubbing today.
It was like a train wreck. The passengers are just gone. I'm just kind of like, what?
So
What?
This started.
And then Lucy turns around and gives away my cabbage rolls and like stabbed in the heart. I was back to back beating up on James. I felt so abused.
he's had a rough day.
yeah.
Aaron's love for Batman Returns started much earlier than when James arrived at the cafe.
Oh, really?
It
No,
started
I wasn't
even
aware of
before-
this.
Like
it started before open.
7:45.
We hadn't even opened the doors
Yeah.
yet.
I had come in before.
Did
my
he come
shift.
in with like his cape and everything? And just like,
Almost. Figuratively, yes, he was wearing a cape.
Yeah. I actually, back in the day when I was younger, my parents, because I love Batman so much, they actually went out to like a Michael's and got like fabric that they then made into a cape.
Oh, wow.
A Batman cape. They actually had like the little cuts and everything. And I wore that thing when I was a kid and I loved it. I didn't have a Batman mask, but I did have a Batman cape when I was younger. I may have held onto it for longer than I probably should have, but it's been long lost to history.
See, that's awesome. My parents like distanced themselves.
That's awesome though.
I mean, they would give me the money to support my book reading habits and all that, but like all the nerdy stuff, they didn't get it. So they just kind of like left me alone.
Yeah, my parents will probably listen to this. They really indulged me in a lot of those things when I was younger and even growing up. Like they were very kind because my brother was more of the athletic, intellectual, like soccer. Like he's now a PhD, like doctor of agricultural economics at Purdue University. Wow. So he's kind of a big deal. Like I'm a big deal, but he's more intellectual, heady stuff, and he was more of the soccer guy, and so he was athletic. He was a skater, and he was like then you have me, who's the big old nerd who doesn't like to have physical activity, who just likes to like watch movies and like read comic books and do all those nerdy things. So
yeah. And what about you, Dallas? Did your parents like engage with your nerdy side, or are you just more of a?
Oh yeah, totally.
They did?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Well, so I grew up during a time when I am of the same age as both of you, so I got a mix of I'm gonna go ride my bike when I get freedom.
Oh yeah,
having a bicycle when you're 9, 10, 11, all the way through mid teenage years is that's your freedom. And then when we moved from California, I was about 10.
Okay,
and we moved to a little bit further west than here, but still a very small town. It was about 5 square blocks when we moved there.
Okay.
So I got the run of that place.
Oh man.
And I had a bike, and
it was you.
It was
that was
I
your
was
time.
gone.
Yeah.
If you could hear the horn from the truck honk, that was time to go.
Time to come home. Yeah. Okay. There you go.
So I had that.
Yeah.
And then I had the I love video games, and yes, I will stay up until 5 a.m. with my friends playing the newest, latest. Yeah. There was some anime in there. There's some video game and puzzle games and RPG games that we like to play. There's board games, so there was a lot of that they could indulge me in. Yeah.
Yeah.
As they could afford it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was kind of like my parents' take on it too, and then like my explosion deeper and all that nerdy stuff is like, thank you, Chris Campbell. You're out there somewhere. Mm-hmm. And his mom, because his mom was just like, his family had means, let's put it that way. And his mom just funded all his interests and stuff like that. And then I fell into that because we became like best friends. Yeah. We were attached at the hip kind of best friends.
Well, and it's interesting because, when I was in middle school, we had a friend of ours who had a home. His dad was like an IT professional for a company, and so they had a network in their house. And this is before like Wi-Fi, before all that. So you had to have an actual network. And so
LAN party.
LAN parties, yeah. You would have to, and you'd have to get the TCP settings correctly. Like it was a thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And so because his family had the means, we would then either use the computers in the house or we'd bring our own computers over if we had good computers for game playing. And it's interesting that like nerd families and this is just probably our experience, others may not have had this great experience, but nerd families kind of stuck together. Like my friend Brian, his family, like they supported him. Like they would be like, yeah, if you want to bring your friends over and you want to network here, like you can do that, and that'll be a thing. And I think they were looking for positive things for us to engage in, because even in Littleton at the time in the late 90s, there was still things you could get into trouble with, and you wanted your kid not to be doing the stuff he shouldn't be, and it was like they love computer games, they love this nerdy stuff.
Oh yeah,
let's figure out a way to support this. And so I think behind the scenes, between the three families, the main three families that we grew up with our friends, they were working very hard to make sure that, okay, these guys need a place to hang out. Like, let's make sure that they're supported. And
it's always cool to have those parents who are like, yeah, we don't mind that they're hanging out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can stay up late,
Doesn't
like
matter.
whatever, no big deal. It was a very, like, I look at my nerd and geek childhood and I think I think about how lucky I was, but also just how, like, who I am today at 39 years old. I look back on all that and I go, oh my God, like I am who I am because of a lot of that. I mean, there's so many more reasons why I am what I am, but we won't get into that because that's called therapy.
That's another type
this
of podcast.
went away from
folks.
Batman Returns and became, this is therapy session.
Tell me about your mother.
Yeah.
Tell me. Yes.
All right, Freud, stop.
Yeah.
let's shift now gears.
I don't think Freud was that freaky.
We can do that again. You know,
We're hard turn, hard left.
Yeah. Take a left.
Hard left. So
Different kind of podcast at that point.
and not
You
one
almost
word-
hit that old lady when you cranked that car to the left. At least signal. Damn.
Well, I didn't run her over, and neither did Batman and Batman Returns. Full circle. I love it. Segway. Hoocha. So
the most awkward segue.
it's my favorite kind of segue.
It did it. It does the trick.
Like it's too late. We're already on the other different topic.
Yeah. So Batman Returns is the second outing of Michael Keaton.
Yep.
And the director, who remind me again, is
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton. And Tim Burton's original. The last episode you probably listened to with us is when we took apart Batman. And Batman was an interesting thing because the power of nostalgia, when we both kind of agreed on this, and I don't know how you feel about it, Dallas, we'll spend a few seconds on this, but Batman, the original movie, isn't that great. Like the first 30 minutes is, and then it takes off. But it's still...
once Jack Nicholson dons that Joker outfit, kablam!
It gets a little better, but it still struggles. And so, I don't know, what's your quick view of your memories of Batman?
Let me level set first for everybody that might be listening.
Okay.
My entertainment value out of a lot of things is simply I go into a thing with no preconceived notion and or expectation.
Okay.
So, with that understood... I love the first Batman.
Oh God!
I like
really
how
love the first
set the
Batman.
table,
Yeah.
you serve the meal.
Look,
I love it. Like
I don't not love Jack Nicholson in anything
my
that he
God,
does.
He's a legit.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
he's an
a
excellent
legend.
actor.
He's a legend.
And for the entire time, do you remember back in the day when the movie first came out and there was this... Wasn't there a set of commercial? Like there was this whole phenomena.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
with
they actually have
saying that
Batmania. They actually
Batman.
coined a phrase about this, about how
Yeah.
wild it drove everything.
Yeah.
it's so cool though.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's. I mean, again, for me, it's an acceptable movie. It picks up half an hour in and finally becomes its Batman movie. So,
Well, I mean, this one they did the same thing. The marketing on this one.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
no.
maybe they
yeah.
figured out the first system worked, and then this movie. Remember, Bat was everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
I swear they were branding burgers at McDonald's with the Bat symbol, just handing them out the window. I mean, it didn't really happen, but
don't,
I mean, it
don't
could,
give them any more ideas.
No, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if that actually happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Batman was everywhere. The Bat signal everywhere. Batman this, Batman that. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
this is a little much. I don't need a Batman with bleach cleaner for my bathroom.
Yeah, but you had to you didn't have the power of the internet then. You had the power
true.
of broadcast
Yeah,
television,
that's true.
and you had the power of placement.
Yeah.
So
Everywhere you went,
it,
you couldn't control it.
Yeah.
You were exposed to it no matter what you did. In this day and age, you can click through the ads, you can whatever. But in that day, the control was in the media's hands. Okay, Batman Returns. Okay, I have said my piece. I firmly believe this movie is an Oscar-winning, Academy Award-winning.
I need to go in the other room.
I believe this is one of the greatest Batman films of all time. I'm just going to say that now, and then we're going to argue and fight through the whole thing. So that's my perspective.
Is this why you brought in the referee?
Yeah, that's why the guy.
I don't. No.
No.
I'm not the referee here.
Right.
By the way, the referee is in the corner.
Right.
I am simply here to buckle in and watch the mayhem
The mayhem.
The mayhem.
as it unfolds.
Well, let's start setting up the ring and get the bells going. Let's do this.
I will say my piece because it's shorter than James's. I know that for sure.
I'm already getting flamed by the neutral party.
I do love the movie, and again, I love the movie because it is the movie I like. I like the way it does play out.
Yeah.
You and James are going to analyze this way more than I ever could.
Oh yeah.
But it's such a I'm a Tim Burton fan.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I really enjoy Tim Burton stuff, and again, I enjoy Michael Keaton in that role.
Yes. I
So,
agree.
There's that, and the
Okay.
villains are good, and it's Batmobile, and go nuts.
All right. Time in round one.
Bling.
So
Fight.
the movie starts. differently than the original, the first Batman started.
Mm-hmm.
This one starts with the backstory of Oswald Cobblepot and what happens when he's born, and his family freaks out and like deposits him in the river, a la Moses, which I find fascinating, and I get a kick out of that. Only obviously, like the nurse freaks out, the doctor runs, they're like, ah! And it's interesting that the parents are so. Like
they're so blasé and cold
right, they're
about
just,
it.
They
They're
just,
like
right.
Victorian age people.
Right. They're just like,
oh, well, this one's terrible. We're
right.
throwing it
No,
out.
just throw this one out.
Put them down the river.
Yeah.
See what happens. But I think it's interesting because there you could really dig in and say this is a product of Gotham City. So that was 33 years ago. Before, because when we looked at Batman, right? Batman's origin story in the original Batman, he was just getting started.
Yeah.
Like it was just beginning, and he was still struggling. He wasn't doing the best. So we're now in this movie, which I don't know how many years later it takes place, maybe like a year or less, whatever. But Batman's a lot more confident, a lot more established.
Oh, yeah.
So my theory is 33 years ago, Gotham was basically a Sodom and Gomorrah. It was a place where nobody really cared about life. Nobody.
So basically didn't change.
But like that. But that helps us understand. Yes. But that helps us understand Gotham.
Fair.
Like
Yes.
I'll give that. But it helps us understand why Batman's needed, because these people don't care about a baby's life because they're just going to throw him in the river like Moses and cross their fingers and hope for the best.
Come on, Gotham has issues from the ground up.
Yeah.
I mean, look at where that little creek connects to. It goes through the sewer system
Yeah,
on
right.
this long, and then ends up in their zoo.
Right.
Is it, so if you're analyzing this a little bit deeper, are you analyzing this to the point of you're looking at this opening scene like this is setting the parents are almost like the moral tone of the city.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Kinda, yeah.
We're basically like setting the morality of the city based using the parents.
Yeah,
like
we
don't care.
Yeah.
We're gonna send our child down the river.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's basically it. And
I mean, it sets a really dark tone when you're throwing out a child.
It does.
yeah,
It does.
Right
and
off the bat.
I think it definitely helps us understand. It also lets us know that when Oswald begins to look for his family,
Yeah.
we fall in the camp of Batman and go, I don't think he really wants. I think he knows who he is. I don't think this is a mystery for him. Like this, there's something more here. So we get the picture. Let's see what else we got here. Mystery of what happened. The title opener and how Batman Returns folds onto the screen is a little different than what we had last time.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it was because it was the newfangled, like, ooh, look at how pretty it is. Whatever. I don't really care. Baptism. I thought it was interesting. There's as Oswald, as a baby, is going through, he is baptized by a waterfall almost. And I don't know if that was the intent of the filmmakers to kind of
so.
But like he was transitioning in to the darker bowels of Gotham and the
Yeah, I know.
waterfall. That's what my thought was.
Yeah. Oh no, you're fine. I was just wondering like how that thing stayed afloat with all that water splashing into whatever. And look how it's made. It's like there should be. Is it made with Flex Seal?
Oh, probably. It's the beauty of movie magic.
It's a Rubbermaid
suspension of
container.
disbelief.
And then I'm just
friends.
kind of like, man, could you imagine sitting there and like, I'm gonna go see the penguin exhibit, and it's stinky
the
sewage water.
The zoo's closed. The zoo's closed. You'll notice that the zoo has been closed for 33
yeah, for
years.
33 years.
For 33 years, it's closed. It hasn't opened. It's not been active. Like this is an abandoned zoo, and I think that also
And
helps us
somehow they just ignore like the penguins are just hanging there, or whatever.
Well,
the penguins
again,
rule the roost. Apparently,
Gotham doesn't care
Gotham
about
has
stuff.
sewer penguins instead of
Yeah.
sewer crocodiles.
Well, they don't
right.
seem to care about Max Shrek and his nuclear waste power, whatever he's got going on.
I
there.
know, right? The negative power
Right.
plant.
It's just like, how does this even happen? All right, so I got to keep up with my notes here. The penguins.
They talk about it. It was gonna look at they're gonna draw power from the city.
Right, yeah.
It's like, okay, so this is a negative power plant.
Right. And it's funny that it took Selena Kyle to figure that out. Alfred Pennyworth is back, and I love it because and I don't know if you remember this, but he is actually all the way through the original Batman movies. Alfred is all the way through till the end, till Batman Forever, I think.
Yeah.
He plays the character Alfred consistently. All the way through. I like him as Alfred just because he is so like genteel and like
Calm and measured.
and
yeah.
he kind of brings balance.
Well, he brings warmth.
Yes. Which is interesting because Alfred Pennyworth, I think in the comics and even in the later mythology of the shows and the TV and the movies, Alfred's supposed to be this like ninja guy who's got all these skills and old school military.
He's a spy.
Yeah, he was a spy. So he is. So the mythology is endorsed in the later films in the Christopher Nolan series and even in Gotham. Like he's not a guy you messed around with. But in these, there's not really a lot of menace to Alfred,
No.
and I'm okay with that. I think I think if you added that in there, I feel it would mess with this movie's tone and this movie's method.
Yeah.
To kind of focus on the Bruce Wayne and the Selena characters.
Yeah, because I like that they did cut out, where it's like you don't really know how Bruce was trained to do all the stuff he does,
Right.
or whatever. It's like no, we just kind of like skip all that.
Right, and you kind of just you're expected to just know it. Like as an audience member,
Yeah.
the movie treats you smart enough to know, okay, you're intelligent enough to make the connections that something has brought him to this point. You're allowed to make it up on your own. Like there's no need. There's no need.
That I like that.
Yeah.
I like that in a movie.
Well,
I also learned something new just now because I never would have. I don't think I ever put that together.
Okay.
That Alfred was trained
Was a spy?
or was a spy.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I don't even think I paid that.
I think
enough
is it in the
attention to
Nolan
it.
movies where that's referenced specifically?
They make a reference in the Nolan movies, and then it's just in the comic books and the animated series. They make callbacks to Alfred being a spy, a highly trained British spy.
All right.
So like
there you go.
In World War II, the MI6, and
Yep.
he participates, and he's had history that
Fair.
that has led him to that. But I like in the Michael Keaton movies that you're allowed to view him as kind of the warm grandfather type.
Yeah, he's not really the murderous spy man.
I've always viewed him as that, no matter what.
Yeah.
Even if he didn't have the past.
Right. Well, and I like that they don't try and do too much with him.
Yeah.
Because that's the danger of a lot of modern takes is they try and explain away the history. I'm like, I don't need that.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things they did, like in the comic books, he really wasn't like the ninja spy, as you said. He was more like a intelligence guy that did some wet work, but he wasn't like a ninja guy.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool that they kind of shoved it in the background, and they say at one point he just got tired of it and he broke free, and then he ended up with the Waynes.
Yep.
I don't exactly remember what happened there, but he just got tired of that lifestyle and moved away. At least the last time I read the storylines of Alfred's like background.
And there's a lot of cool mythology with Alfred as well. I do like, again, the movie. We've had this conversation, and we've had this conversation offline about how movies today treat us like children with information. They have to hit you over the head with the exposition. In this movie, it's just in passing. There's like the newspaper, penguin sighting again, sighting, and you're just kind of going, ooh, okay, because there was like the beast earlier. Okay, no, now I'm getting it. I also like later on in the movie is when Batman and Commissioner Gordon meet up. He's like, well, the circus gang is back again. So it's not their first appearance. The circus gang has been around a little bit, and that means that Batman's still been working. So that the Batman Returns aspect of this movie is there's still been some stuff. Like he may have been out of it for a little bit, couple months, but the circus gang probably came in and replaced the Joker when the Joker crashed and died, and then the Penguin stuff came into play, and that's what's kind of running that there. Okay, shall we talk about Christopher Walken and Shrek?
Oh, okay.
I love Christopher Walken. I love him in this movie. He is equal parts slimy and equal parts like he's trying to glad hand and be popular and be like, oh, I'm a good son of Gotham, and he's really not. He's a terrible human being who wants to destroy the city.
No kidding.
But Christopher Walken is
Christopher Walken as an actor is great.
Yeah.
And so he nails this, and kind of it's one of those things like he's kind of like a side character. He's not too important, but every time he's in a scene, he's chewing it up. Yeah. And it's like awesome.
Yeah. Because he's not like a second thought. He's not like a guy you're just like, okay, like in Batman, Joker's like right-hand man. He's not really featured. He's not really all that impressive. He's kind of just there. You're just like, okay, well, here he is again. Woohoo. With Christopher Walken, you're like, oh boy.
It adds atmosphere.
What's he gonna do? Like, where's it? Like, we know he's not a good guy.
I always thought it was the weirdest thing in the world though to have like, this is a guy that owns a power plant.
Yeah.
And he's like treated like a celebrity.
Yeah, right.
Well, it's not just he has the.
He's the Kardashian of
more,
Gotham.
I think he's more than
with
a power
his son.
magnate.
Yeah,
well,
it's really weird.
He owns the store, like it's a toy store. Yeah. Shrek's store is a big part of his front, I guess you could say, where he tries to show, he's a respected member of the business community when he's really terrible. Shall we talk about how amazing Michelle Pfeiffer as an actress is? Because sweet baby Moses, that woman has range.
Well, in my little notes here, I have both Danny DeVito and Michelle Pfeiffer are too good for their roles in this movie. Yeah. They are amazing.
Yeah. They they take those roles, and we've had this conversation about other Batman movies and other like character actors that are well known, and they kind of phone it in. Like they're just kind of there. Like you're like, okay, whatever, just get out of the scene. But every time Pfeiffer or DeVito's on screen, it elevates. Like DeVito eats, like metaphorically and literally chews this scenery, and it is just like when he's spitting and his like the bile is coming up. It's so just like
he's so nasty and disgusting.
Yeah, and he doesn't stop. He keeps pushing the envelope on that character, and you're like, as a viewer that he's trying so hard. It's that duality. So a theme about this movie is the duality. Thank you. I got to pronounce it right. I'm an English major. I promise I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional, people. The duality.
It's fine.
It's fine. Everything's fine. It's on fire, but it's fine. The duality of you've got Oswald Cobblepot, Penguin. You've got Selena Kyle, Catwoman. You've got Batman, Bruce Wayne, and you've even got a little like Mr. Shrek.
Shrek falls into this.
Too.
With his public face and then his real face.
Yeah.
So there is that duality that is very. In other directors' hands, it would have just been like, okay, cool, that's a cool theme. But in Tim Burton's hands and with the music of Danny Elfman and just the actors at play,
I think you're undercutting a lot of directors. Come on.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, no, I mean, but like if you had given
some directors, you probably
would have
lose some.
Give this to Michael Bay, and it'd be an explosion every time someone changed character.
He didn't direct a Batman movie, did he? It was all Joel Schumacher.
Yeah, it was Joel Schumacher.
Good old Schumacher.
Action for action's sake. Okay, it's entertainment.
Yeah, Michael Bay did Pearl Harbor, which. I have feelings about that at some point.
I mean, if we want to, we can talk about that movie later. But
yeah,
let me try to bring it back though. There's a little bit of trivia here that I like to expose for others.
Fire away.
The trivia moment of the day.
So Danny DeVito, and I didn't realize this until I had to go back and actually see the character.
Yeah,
Danny DeVito in his credits has a character in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which is also another great movie.
Yeah,
that is not done nearly as well as the book, but still, he is one of the characters in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and I can't remember, but he's the one who never sets his feet on the ground.
Okay.
Anyway, you miss DeVito in that movie. Yeah. You don't realize it's him, and then you look like when you have an actor that's so good that you forget who it really is. Then you have that's such an excellent play.
I agree. I think you like when to swerve again, like you talk about Knight's Tale. Heath Ledger owns that role.
Oh yeah.
It's no longer Heath Ledger. It's the character.
Well, A Knight's Tale. That movie is like a lot of these people that I didn't even know who they were, but watching them on screen, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
And Paul Bettany.
Paul Bettany is so crazy.
That's so good.
Yeah, he's so great.
Yeah. But again, if you think as I watched Batman Returns last night, you're right. It is Danny DeVito, clearly. You can see it.
But you missed that.
He is you can't take away the face.
He goes away, right?
Right.
He goes away.
Yeah, but the character,
he's Penguin.
Yeah, he is. And he does the whole thing where he's like it was like almost nails on chalkboard. I'm just like,
so gross.
Gosh dang it, you're good at this.
So gross in the movie.
And the way he uses his that weird scowl stare when he's at somebody. Yeah. Like he zeroes in on you.
Yeah.
And then you can see him the way he uses his flipper hands a whole bunch too.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, don't like this movie. There's things I don't really like in this movie, but the actors are great.
Yeah.
I'm yes.
You look at costume, you look at practical effects and how they made Penguin's hands the way they made him. I was watching because later on in the movie, obviously we see his hands as he's walking through the enclosure. Yeah. I looked and I was like, okay, well, but it was real. They had done a heck of a job making it look like they were paddles on a and I couldn't see anything that was going to give it I can see how cheap that is or whatever. I'm like, okay, no, that looks really good. No, I believe that the Penguin's hands are like that, and it's it's like him and Michelle Pfeiffer. I get a kick out of it. I love all of it. It's my favorite. But we'll get to the good. But we're also going to probably get to the bad here momentarily.
I love how you point at me when you say that.
We're going to get to it eventually.
I can side with both because I can go either way.
Yeah, you walk the middle line.
I'm in it for the entertainment value. So I suspend all my disbelief when I walk into a movie.
We sold tickets to the show. It's great. We're going to make some money on it. Okay, so we have not yet. So the cool thing about the Penguin is we don't see him. We hear him and we see pieces of him, but it's the Jaws effect where they tease okay, there's this inhuman creature. He was born. He was abandoned. Okay, now like the Penguin. You hear Penguin. You hear you see his flippers when.
Yeah, he's grabbing those grates.
Yeah, he's grabbing the grates, and Alfred Pennyworth is kind of looking and sees something but doesn't really see it.
Yep.
And then you kind of you see his shadow. You see him. You see him moving.
Yeah.
And so you're prepared. The movie is amping you up for the reveal of the Penguin. And when it comes and it goes, like, it's such a payoff. Like, it absolutely pays. They earned that. They earned that scene. And we get Batman back.
Yeah, we get Batman back.
The Circle King is back. I made a note. We talked about this last episode. Gotham PD is useless, especially in this movie.
Well, come on, like. If you watch this opening scene with all these celebrities in this big moment, there's no cops.
Yeah, no.
It's like
there's no security.
No,
there should be, like, they just talked about crime and everything else. There should be cops littering in this place.
Right. And then, so is this where the kid gets kidnapped or whatever? Or no? Is this? I can't remember what this is. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at my notes. You'll have to remind me of this. No, this is just the attack.
Yeah, this
is where he draws. This is where he draws Shrek out. I love Batman burns a dude. Like, full on just burns him.
Well, yeah, we talked about it in the first one, though. It's like where he blows up a whole plant full of people.
Right.
Like, oh, well.
He just burns a dude. I'm like, I said burns a dude. Exclamation point.
I mean, I will say in this movie, we do get more, like, classic-style Batman combat, though, where he's just punching people out. I'm like, cool. This is what it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he takes a couple hits, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's still this. I think that's probably one of the more human bits of Batman, because some of the earlier superhero movies don't necessarily have that hero taking a hit.
Yeah,
but he takes a licking.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, he did that in the first movie with some of the fights where he's, some of them you're kind of questioning, like, is he going to win? He's getting beaten on really good.
I always really loved the fact that Batman always took a hit, and he's always seen as still just a real human.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like an error in a lot of these earlier ones because they don't show him, like, recovering.
Yeah.
I kind of liked it in, like some of the later ones where you actually have him, like, get beat up. And then, like, they show him all, like, Nolan was like, he's bruised from, like, armpits to his knees.
Or he's got to make it out of the pit.
Yeah, or got to make it out of the pit. But it's like, the wounding is real. The amount of damage he takes is real.
Right.
Yep. I made another note. The eyes of Batman are powerful. This is the conversation we had in last episode. Is Michael Keaton's eyes and the way he uses them in as Batman and as Bruce Wayne underneath that cowl.
Well, yeah. Well, they needed someone with those eyes.
Yeah.
Also, look how he's framed whenever they frame him. Mm-hmm. So when he's framed in the mask, you can see how he's framed, and they purposely are drawing your attention there. So that's a good, very very good.
Filmmaking technique.
There you go.
Yeah, and because you, as a viewer, again, the directors and the people who made this movie, they believe you're smart enough to make your inferences. They're not going to spell it out for you. They're going to make you work. And like you said, you appreciate that about movies, and I do. Like, I love being able to be like, I'm going to interpret what I'm seeing in Michael Keaton's eyes. It may not be what you believe you see, but I'm allowed. The movie is giving me room and space to go, ooh, I know what I think. Oh my gosh, I think I know what he's thinking, because it's not going to spell it out. They're not going to like have him narrate his whatever. They trust you to make that decision or that inference, and that's a powerful movie. That's a powerful like film when it gives you room to go. I have an idea of what's happening here, and I'm allowed to do that without being told what exactly is happening here.
Right.
That's a beautiful thing. Let's see. Who says the line "You need therapy"? Is that? Do you remember? I made a note. I said, "You need therapy."
Is it?
I can't remember if it's Selena Kyle or who
it might
is.
be. Oh, geez, it might be her.
I don't know.
And it might.
I don't have a note
it's
on
not
that.
her talking to herself, is it?
No, it's her saying something to someone else. Penguin hidden in shadow. Zoo. They show up. The Penguin reveal is awesome.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Like, we could just talk about how amazing DeVito is as this role, but it's like you get the first introduction, him spitting like a bird, and it's not like white, it's dark colored spittle.
Yeah, weird greeny.
It's
stuff
disturbing.
Down his chin. Yeah,
it is.
It's disturbing.
But
good special effects.
Yeah, but it's just it puts you on edge. He blackmails Shrek because he can, and he's like. And he says this thing where he says, "What you throw away, I preserve," or some such.
Well, yeah, because like he's going through all their garbage and all that stuff, so he has all the information.
Well, and I realized this afterwards. I was like, Penguin's playing a long game here.
Yes, he is.
Oh, yeah, where he digs. I can't remember who's. No, Max? Who's
Shrek? Yeah, he digs out the
brings the
shredded,
hand.
Yeah, the shredded
brings
stuff.
the hand to
him.
him.
He brings the hand to the guy he killed.
Murdered.
And he's like, hey, guess who? And
he's playing a longer game here, which is cool.
Yeah, and as a viewer, you go, oh man, this guy's dangerous. Like he knows more about Shrek than Shrek knows about himself.
But this is we'll talk about it later. But this he's playing this long, patient game, whatever.
Yeah.
But he betrays all that later.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he betrays everybody.
Yeah, he gives up on being the long game guy.
Yeah, and he just goes
later and just goes
trauma.
Yeah, just goes full nut bag.
Yeah,
I'm just kind of like, well, you just betrayed your you were waiting for all these years. You spent all this time taping stuff together with your crew and gathering that dead guy's hand and all, and then you just kind of just throw it all away.
Well, I think maybe it could be a theme of the futility of evil, because eventually your evil plans fall apart and you can never truly have your revenge or your victory, because when good triumphs over evil every time, is at least the message of a lot of these movies, is good triumphs over evil. And he's forced to admit that, a lot like Joker, where does he get all these wonderful toys? Like Joker ends up at the end trying to save his legacy, or trying to finally get Batman where he wants him, but he never can, because even as hurt as Batman was, good still wins.
In this instance, good still wins.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's not always, but you know what?
Yeah.
Good also, vengeance is hollow.
Yeah, it is. Well, and
right?
Well, and it's interesting because Bruce Wayne figures out what's going on with Penguin. He's like, okay, this dude isn't all he's thing to be. Michelle Pfeiffer is legit a talented actress. I love the duality of Selena Kyle and Catwoman. Did you agree with that statement that she's a legit actress there, James?
No, she is. She is. No, I'm more like just cringing and
there was some wincing.
Yeah, it's just the Penguin stuff. I'm just kind of like, no. If you're gonna be the patient guy that plays the long game stuff, you just don't throw it away.
It's the frustration,
especially when you're winning. It's like you are basically winning. If you're just more patient and calm, you are you're mayor.
Okay,
you have everything you want.
That's the frustration of going up against Batman.
Yeah. Okay, all right. James is a cantankerous, cranky one right now. He's crossed into he's gone cranky. We'll try and bring him back.
No, we're good.
Okay.
Keep going.
I like that little dismisses everything. None of it means anything. I reject your reality and insert my own. James 2022. Okay, so Selena Kyle, the scene in the apartment is one of my favorites, because she's not telling us that she's still living in her childhood. She's not telling us that she's stuck in without a boyfriend. She doesn't. Everything she does in this scene, from when she walks in the door, hits the voicemail. We see everything in the background. We see all the cute little dolls. We see the hello there little electric light in her room. Everything tells us exactly what we need to know about Selena Kyle. But she doesn't say it. She kind of narrates a bit, but we're trusted to know, okay, this is a mousy, she doesn't have a lot of courage in her, that kind of stuff. And I love this scene because it comes full circle when she goes Catwoman and everything goes to hell.
Well, I mean, the thing is, this character is supposed to be mousy and kind of weak and incapable of doing stuff and not really seen by anybody. Yeah. But they betray that too in this scene too, where you have those the message from her boyfriend who left her and all this other kind of stuff. There's all these things where it's somehow she's successful and gets these things, but she's supposed to be weak and mousy, whatever. Yeah. It's no, you betray that. You should not even have her connected to anybody. Just leave it at that.
I would agree with that because it did seem weird. I was like, wait, is this who is this man who she's because she says I'm not married and she doesn't have any but then there's this one little moment where this guy's like, oh, my mom says I need to be, independent, or my psychiatrist, whatever. Yeah. And then she's like, oh, well, that's just bad. I'm just like, okay, so wait, so she had or what? And that begets the question of how serious was that relationship? Was it? Who knows?
And it's just one of those things again, it's one of those things you're kind of betraying what you're trying to portray with this character. Yeah. You shouldn't even include it in those kind of hints or references. Just shove them to the side. Right. Give us her being a mousy, disappointed kind of person that's not living to their potential. Right. I guess you can say.
Yeah. I did feel the hello there fluorescent thing, because what happens is later we get the hell here kind of thing where she smashes, and I felt that was a little heavy-handed. I was like, okay, And I was like, where did she get this? Did she order this? Did she scavenge it?
It's like who in their right mind, being a mousy, unsuccessful person with no money and all these other issues that she's having, I got a custom neon sign in my house
that says hello there, and it's not very good. It's kind of junky. So I'm wondering if she salvaged it, maybe scavenged it, and like as decorating her hodgepodge of an apartment, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. It was a very kind of an odd, like, I cocked my head to the side and I was like, I don't know what's going on.
That's believable. I've scavenged some pretty awesome and pretty terrible stuff.
At the same time, it's awesome, and at the same time, it's terrible. That I understand.
A little from column A, a little from column B.
Yeah. Mix it in with column C, and you got it. So here's where I get a little bit cranky. She goes back. And she accesses the secret files.
I know, right?
What was she thinking?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's like Selena Kyle is portrayed as kind of like a bit doddering, but she's not stupid. She's not an idiot. Like, she's just constantly seeking approval from her bosses, and she's trying her best. But at no point is her character somebody who would be like, oh, I'm going to go look into the secret files that are password protected.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you're portraying this pathetic, weak person, those type of people aren't going to go into those files in the first place.
Right.
They're going to be like, oh, no, this door should be locked. Let me lock everything down.
Right.
And then run away.
Right. I didn't understand. But it does set us up for the moment when Shrek shows up and he asks her these questions. You know she's dead.
Yeah.
There's no question. You know she's not going to live through this. And the way that it continues to develop makes me just like, it makes you hate it more because she's a nice girl. Like, she's like, there's nothing wrong with her, but because she, like,
well, I mean, he messes, like, this is where we set up, like, Shrek's, like, dark side.
Oh, yeah, no.
I mean, we get it that he killed that guy before or whatever, but that's like a planned kind of hit
and we
thing.
didn't see it happen.
This one is him, like, all the questions and things he hits her with, he's messing with her head intentionally before he gives her the push.
You could almost say he's a cat playing with
a mouse.
A mouse. Yeah. Which I like. There's moments in this movie where, like, obviously he fakes out. She's like, oh, I thought you were gonna hurt me, and he's like, and and her falling. Oh. It is intense.
Yeah.
Like, this movie doesn't shy away from it. It's just and it's like she dead. She dead. She gone. It's over. Yeah. Like, she's broken every bone in her body. Like, but it's like, I love how this movie, like, just kind of brings these cats in. It doesn't explain the metaphor.
Yeah, it doesn't bring in any explanation.
No, there's no supernatural explanation. No. There's no, like, well, this is like, the lightning is going to strike her and she's going to become a Catwoman. Like, the cats surround her and lick her wounds and give her, like, some weird CPR going on there.
And weird stuff.
And so all this supernatural cat happenings, and then she's alive. What I think is, my theory on the mythology, and I haven't done any research because why would I do that, is she's a zombie. That's my thought.
We find out later how that happens. My understanding is,
go ahead.
I thought we found out later in the movie how that happens.
Nope.
We don't.
They don't give you any explanation of how he becomes, what she becomes. I'm just sitting there going, like, look, if cat licks and biting on you and stuff give you superpowers and give you 9 lives, about half of America has 9 lives. Go on out there, guys.
I thought she was doing some reading, and there's a part in the movie where she finds some mythology somewhere about how a cat could give you.
No. Not that I'm aware of. I have nothing about that in my notes. I would have said something.
A cat can give one of its 9 lives. Am I thinking of a different movie?
You're thinking of a different movie, I believe.
What? I don't know where I am now.
What happened?
What am I thinking about?
How did Catwoman become Catwoman? There may have been. I mean,
that's one of those things. Like, I don't think they addressed that in this movie at all. Because I'm
pretty
totally sure you or I would have made those notes.
I could be totally wrong.
Oh, okay. Here we go. So this is on Wikipedia, because of course everything on the internet is true.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
So it says the character arc: Selena is knocked unconscious after the fall.
She doesn't die from that. What?
I don't think it's unconscious.
I think she died. Like, that's what I judged. But it says she's unconscious after the fall and is revived by a group of alley cats that flock around her and begin gnawing at her fingers. When she returns home, she suffers a psychotic breakdown.
Oh, yeah.
And becomes Catwoman.
I think she becomes Catwoman at that point, though.
I agree. I don't know if because she fell. If you watch that scene, she falls and hits.
She's dead.
And
she's dead.
There's no way she lives through that.
Yep.
Right.
So I disagree with the No, she dies. And I think the cats revive her, or some kind of power transfers to her.
They don't really we don't get a hint of what this is, but she's just created.
Yeah.
Boom. And then you go back to the apartment, after she wakes up, she's Catwoman, but she's kind of confused. And then the apartment is her rejecting the old Selena Kyle. I think that's what that is. More than just
there's the duality. She struggles continually throughout the film. There's moments where she struggles with her identity. The Selena Kyle that we saw before she got pushed out the window is gone. That Selena Kyle is dead.
Yep.
The Selena Kyle that we get is a much stronger personality. But she's more closer to the Selena Kyle, or to the Catwoman persona, but she still has that doubts of, is this really what I should be doing? Am I supposed to be this person?
Well, yeah, because she's kind of she's still a broken person.
Yeah. So she's dead. Curiosity. What curiosity did the cat? Well, it killed her. Her death is an intense thing. She's resuscitated by cats. Scene replays. Okay, so the scene where she wakes up and then goes back to her apartment is a beautiful replay of the original, but then it just goes so wrong. And I love it because it's such a duality. It's duality. Dang it, I can't say that word right.
Duality or duality.
Whatever.
It probably doesn't matter.
Wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. Right. Yeah. Good talk. So I love how that scene, and she shreds all of her little animals, and I think she does experience a psychotic break. There's no question she's lost her mind.
Mm-hmm.
But the darkness in her has taken over.
Yep.
I think there's still good Selena Kyle in there, still in the depths of her heart and soul, undead as it may or may not be.
I would agree there's good there.
Yeah.
But the monster has been unleashed. For sure.
Yeah.
And
all
it's
that
such
repressed a good whatever.
Yeah. It's
Boom.
such a good.
Yeah.
That is the best part of that character is when that happens.
I said this is magnificent scene making, the leather when she finds it, and what I love about this is there's no explanation, there's no backstory. The leather that she puts together, it just is.
Yep.
There is no she drew a picture of a Catwoman or none of this. We're just okay. She found the leather.
They grab that leather jacket
and
she just does the
cuts
things.
It, cuts it, and does the thing, and she finds the little nails, and she does those.
Yeah.
There is no I was drawing cats in my drawing book, and this is what I came up. No,
nope.
It's just in her psychotic rage. This is what she does, and I love this movie for that because it doesn't pat me on the head and be like, oh, well, Peter Parker's been drawing his Spider-Man uniform for a while, and now he's coming up. No, there's no drawings. It's just Catwoman is here. And
I love that homemade kind of look. I mean, obviously it's not exactly homemade, but you know, the look, the stitches and stuff on this costume, it's great.
Yeah.
Well, we know somewhere in that is a little bit of hobbyist seamstress bit. So it looks
she has
well
all
put
these
together,
stuff
right?
there.
But still, it's not.
Yeah, and her costume reveal is just
so
impressive.
Good.
I'm just like, oh my gosh, it is so well put together, and it's so representative of Catwoman. And because there's stitches in that uniform, and I want to say those stitches almost could be representational of the stitches on her wounds or her soul or whatever you want to call it. But those stitches, because eventually down the road those come undone.
Well, as she starts losing her lives and stuff like that, all of a sudden all those stitches and things that are holding it all together are getting looser and broken. The mask gets kind of snapped in places, whatever. Yeah.
And she becomes this real, you see the two people that she is. Kidnapping the mayor's son as Oswald's attempt to restore himself. I like that because when it starts, we think, okay, well, here's the Penguin's plan. He's going to kidnap the son, but no, he's rescuing the son and coming back into the good graces of the community and trying to lie to them. Shrek recognizes that this isn't a possibility of using him as a resource to get him his guy in power.
His negative power plant.
Yep. I like Wayne's comments about the parents because that draws us back to the mythology. Because this movie doesn't spend a lot of time on the Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne.
No. We're done with that.
Yeah, but it does remind you that Bruce Wayne is an orphan. He, in that moment before he starts to figure out who Cobblepot is, he kind of goes, I hope he finds his parents. And you feel that with Michael Keaton's, how he says that line. You're just like, there is a lot there to just step back and go, Bruce Wayne actually, like, there's that little boy who's like, I hope he finds his parents. Like, oh, and you kind of get drawn out for a moment, and you're like, that's a sweet moment. When's he gonna punch him?
Well, that's speaks to the ultimate good of the guy.
Yeah, because he does have a good heart. He does have a good soul.
Sure.
As dark as Batman may be,
he cares.
he does. He does.
But yeah, and that kidnap scene, another weakness of the Gotham PD. They're not there.
Yeah, there's no protection.
There's just another huge event and no security.
At least in the original Batman, like, they were around. You could see the police officers. In this movie, they're nowhere. Yeah. All you see is Commissioner Gordon in a car with a police officer at some point.
We're in this highly violent, dark city,
right,
loaded with gangs.
Right.
And
nobody.
No
security, no private security. Mm-hmm. Like, what the heck has happened? And that, I guess the question, is it so bad in Gotham that even the police have abandoned the city?
If it's so bad in Gotham, you would not be holding outdoor events. Everybody would be inside, locked up somewhere.
It's an awful naive thing if the city's bad enough.
Right. Why would you have a tree lighting ceremony when
right. Oh, we're inviting you all out into the snow and the cold and on the street.
Yeah, and the criminals were going to come in and murder you.
And we're just
exactly. And we're okay with this too.
And this is fine.
Yeah, everything's fine. Yeah, what a city government. They're amazing.
And it's like, if you want to do like the begin, like tapping the first movie, where they wanted to show like, the power of the city coming back and all this kind of stuff. Well, you would show force. Yeah. You'd have police lined up everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's how you show the strength of your city in whatever.
That is in your world where that happens, not this one.
Well, no, obviously not this one.
Not in Batman Returns.
Like, this is like, now we're just...
I was sad that we didn't get the reporter from the last movie. I was kind of hoping we'd get the guy back, but we didn't, obviously. And I feel like that would have been a cool connective piece to have him come back. And maybe he's like, I don't know. I missed that part. The Batcave, Wayne's glasses are fascinating. They are like hexagonal.
Yeah.
And I noticed that last night. I was watching. I was like, hold on a second. Those are cool.
Really?
Yeah. They're hexagonal. They're not actual like round glasses. They're not even Harry Potter. They're their own little weird like hexagonal. And I love that little element because it tells you that he has the money and the ability to make his own special little glasses. And he's that focused on what that looks like as an image.
Well, the thing is, we already know it's Bruce Wayne. We know he's a billionaire. So
I know, but it's an added little moment where you're like, huh.
I think the subtlety in that is good, though.
Yeah,
I like some subtlety in
like to 99% of the audience, though. They're not going to pay attention to that. They're just going to think
cool
glasses.
They should.
Well,
they should be annotating their script that they downloaded off the internet.
No, they needed to hang a tag that says like $10,000 on the glasses, and then your audience would get that.
Yeah.
It is. It's the things that you don't see that make the scene sometimes, right?
Okay.
It's the little details that go unnoticed that are still help that.
The graveyard scene with DeVito, I like how he just kind of plays it like he's faking it, like he knows his parents are already dead.
Mm-hmm.
I like Catwoman. When does this happen? So DeVito plays the graveyard scene. And then,
this is like after they have that huge scene where people are trying to talk to him, and he's inside there writing down all the firstborn children's names in Gotham, and it's like no one begins to question this.
Right,
he's
why
in
he
the
spends
library
days in there writing all their names down.
He's in the archive.
Yeah. So I'm trying to remember.
And then you skips to that. And then we get a fight scene with Selena.
Yeah.
In like her first kind of like caper,
I guess
you could say, where I'm just like,
is that when she blows up Shrek's store?
Yeah. And then she jabs Batman for the first time.
Okay, is that when?
I think so.
Is that when him and Penguin are standing there, or is that? I'm trying to remember the order of this because I
watched this like weeks ago. So
as did I. You're the most
you
recent
just watch it this
recap
week.
of this. Sir.
I'm apparently supposed to be better about this.
I did my homework a long time ago when we were originally supposed to do this.
And I don't have notes.
Okay, so I think Selena and
oh no, the Batman, like their little first run in comes kind of later, I believe. Yeah.
Okay, so Michael Keaton, Batman,
Selena and Bruce meet in that meeting that they have where Bruce talks to Shrek a little bit.
Yeah.
About they're talking about the plant and how Bruce really doesn't want to be involved with it, whatever, because he doesn't believe in the project.
And he tosses the document at Shrek like from across the table.
Yeah.
Like, here, take that. Like it speaks to Wayne's confidence. Like, he doesn't care about what Shrek thinks, what Shrek's going to do.
He doesn't care about Shrek's legacy.
Right. He's just like, you are beneath me because I know who you really are, and you thought you could you could paper over me with money or like whatever. I'm not an idiot. I commissioned an independent report. I know who you are. I'm wise to your little wily ways.
I think in that scene though, it's like we get a little bit where they kind of talk back and forth really quickly about like the gangs and some deeper gang knowledge. Well, at least Bruce does, and I'm kind of like, that's a little too much Batman coming out. You need to like take that back.
Yeah, but I like it because it challenges Max Shrek, because Shrek has to go, well, I don't know.
Well, yeah, he's not bamboozled by me.
Right, yeah.
Bruce doesn't care.
And I made a note here, Selena's back, and wowza.
Yeah, this is where her and Bruce have their first meeting.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, cool. They have a really good like working vibe right there.
Right, and I made a note later, Michelle Pfeiffer and Michael Keaton's chemistry in this film.
That's pretty solid.
Oh, you are convinced that those two have a thing. Like, you're like, okay, the chemistry and the tension in every single moment they're together, you're just like, okay, I believe it.
Yep.
They are very good at acting that out. The note I made about Catwoman she interferes in an assault on a woman, and she basically beats the guy up and then like goes after the girl too, goes after the woman like in uncomfortable ways.
Well, because she doesn't like you.
Well, because she's out late. Right?
Yeah.
Don't be a victim.
This
is the moment where she's trying to like stick up for herself in the same and this lady in the same way.
Yeah, and I was kind of like this is the part in my brain where I'm just like, again, another unexplained thing with Selena.
Yeah.
Where did she learn all the combat tricks, the flipping?
It came
and
from
all
the
that
cats,
stuff?
James.
The cats just
gave her kung fu.
Nibbled it into her.
She learned cat kung fu.
Because I mean, if this is where zombies are like, man, we're screwed. We're not coming back from this.
Disbelief.
Yeah, I know.
The cats gave her kung fu. They call it cat kung fu. I don't know.
Cat fu.
Cat fu. There it is.
Cat fu.
There we go. And I think that fits because she is a lot more like kung fu-y and attacky and all that stuff. So Selena's back, and wowza, I said wowza, because she just owns that scene. And Shrek is freaking out because he's like, I killed this girl. Why is she back?
I tossed you out of a building.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And he believes. It's like she convinces him that it's all a blur. I don't know. She knows. She's not fooled. And I love that she fools Shrek into thinking that, she doesn't remember it. We're good. But he's like, if she remembers, kill her back.
Right.
And I'm just you idiot.
I was like looking at this kind of different thing. He should have been like, so there she was.
Yeah.
Because like if you dump a body out a window, you're not just going to leave it there. You'd send goons or someone to go scoop that thing up and get rid of it.
But I wonder if that's
dump it in the sewer for Penguin to grab.
I wonder if I wonder if it's because he does it so ruthlessly, and I think that's what when Penguin shows him the arm of the dude. Yeah. I think Shrek is so like confident of his ability to just be above the law that he can do whatever he wants.
Well, because he has the backing of the Penguin. But it's one of those things he probably would have said something about that to the Penguin, or Penguin would have to him. Yeah. Be like, I got more blackmail on you. You shoved this chick out a window, and here's her body.
But I don't think Shrek cares. I don't think Shrek in the end, Penguin blackmails him, but the reason why Shrek signs on, he's like, well, this guy could be my mayor, and I would have a mayor to control. So Shrek is all about, no, I got to have power, and I don't give a care. Like, what consequence shoving this lady? And I'm guessing he also thinks that Selena Kyle isn't anybody important. He's probably figured her out. Like, she's just some random undersecretary that I hired out of nowhere, and I know her story, and I'm just she isn't worth my time.
Well, no, when she reappears, though, that immediately should, like, if you're this big mega successful dude, whatever, he should have been like all over it, being like, I need to worry about this, we need to get rid of her.
Right.
He's
there should
concerned.
have been like Penguin, like
he is
bumping her off in her apartment for him or something.
But he doesn't I agree a little bit with that. He doesn't go. He just kind of says, okay, well, she's
because you just can't discard this now because she just appeared. I just shoved this chick out of a 10-story building window, and here she is.
Yeah.
And she's acting really weird.
I'm there's a study in Shrek's character to be made. I wonder if he's so egotistical that he believes that, well, okay, she has amnesia. She says she has amnesia. his view of her was stupid before. She was an idiot before. She's an idiot now. She wouldn't tell me. She wouldn't try and swindle me. No, she says she has amnesia. She's got amnesia. Okay.
Now, I would have gone for Out the Window 2 Electric Boogaloo here.
Well, unfortunately,
because I mean, you just can't. No, I'm like, this is a liability.
Thankfully,
out the window.
Thankfully, you are not an evil villain in a
Not
movie.
once, but twice.
Yeah. I'm gonna put some notes here. If I ever anger James, he's gonna throw me out the window.
Not once,
Not
but
once,
twice.
but twice.
Yeah.
Well, no, if you come back, you're going out the window
It's
again.
like zombie. What is that zombie? Is it Zombieland? Double tap.
Double
yeah,
tap.
double tap.
Yes.
Double window drop.
Absolutely.
Double tap. Double window drop.
Double defenestration.
There we go. Good talk. Moving forward from the violence. So Selena's back on Wowza. Penguin's hands are impressive. I love it. DeVito inhabits that character.
Yeah, so this is that surprise we're going to run you for mayor scene, which kind of was really weird.
Well, and I fast-forwarded when did he bite the guy on the nose?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I fast-forwarded. I couldn't handle it. I was like, ah!
Because, like, this is one of those scenes that's kind of like they're portraying, like, that inner darkness of the penguin here.
Yeah.
Where he's more animal than man in a way, more beast than a man. But I think they shouldn't have really done this because he's, at this moment, he's trying to portray that he is such a good, nice figure and that was discarded.
Yeah.
And suddenly being this weird, savage creature in this whole scene in front of all these people, it's kind of like, Like, the penguin himself would have been at the, no, I need to portray myself as this nice thing.
Yeah.
This thing that people want.
Yeah.
And then, taking that huge chunk out of that dude's nose, just woo.
Yeah, I couldn't handle that scene. I fast-forwarded about a couple seconds when he did the whole I was like, nope, not my thing, not my jam, not going to watch that happen.
Yeah, and then we got more bat fights coming where it's like, yes, the new suit, because you can tell they put more work into it.
And he's
he's
actually
way more flexible.
He's able to win. Yeah. So my favorite part of this is Catwoman is at Shrek's and is basically demolishing the place. And you've got the kind of duality of her just destroying Shrek's department store.
Yep.
And Batman is blowing up a guy.
Yeah.
I love Batman and the Penguin where he kind of walks up on Penguin, kind of just tottering around.
Yeah.
And he's like, what are you doing here? And, I'm doing the mayorly thing. You're not mayor yet. Oh, yeah, things change. And he's like, you're not going to win, are you? And he's like, things change. And I love just that mano penguin a mano, I guess, like scene of just like I'm the protagonist, I'm the antagonist, and you're just it's genuinely fun to watch them, and there's no lens flares, there's no explosions happening around them. They're just looking at each other going, okay, my name's Batman, my name's Penguin, who's gonna win this one? Things change, you never know. And then my favorite moment of this movie is they both are standing outside Shrek's store. Catwoman somersaults out of the place, and they she's out of breath, and they're just looking at her, and she goes meow, boom, and I love it because they both look at her, and they're just like, who is this girl? Like, what is going on? And then it doesn't even wait for it. It doesn't wait for you to take that moment in for but a second before it just. I love it because it reminds me of and I never watched the full thing, but in Justice League, when Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman shows up, and he's like, I thought she was with you. No, she wasn't with me. And it's like that moment of like, they neither of them know what to do. Of course, Penguin's like, I saw her first. She's mine. Yeah. And he goes after her, like, whatever.
Yeah, that touches on some themes that we just can't talk about.
Yeah, there's some
sorry, guys.
There's some there's some uncomfortable tension that
there's
occurs.
An undercurrent.
Yeah, there's an undercurrent of Penguin.
Yeah, some of our adult listeners will probably be going like, why aren't they talking about this? They're like, sorry guys, we can't. Not on this one.
We are produced out of a school district. We can say that Penguin has feelings for Catwoman.
There's a lot of awkward feelings.
There's some feelings there.
Not even
and it is very, if you look at it as a film study of how those moments are played, it's brilliant.
There's a lot of
it's great.
Yeah, but it's disgusting themes and feelings that are in there that
it's just
we could tear apart for about an hour or more.
Yeah, it's interesting. We won't cover that as much. Let's see what else here. So Batman and Selena, I think in the various stuff that happens, Selena's his equal. She's just as good as he is, if not a little better. Like, she holds her own against him. Mm-hmm. Like, with everything, all the fights Batman's been, with all the fight Batman's, let me try that again in English, with the right words in the right places. With all the fights Batman has been in, he's been the victor, without question. Like, knocking him down. Selena gives him a run for his money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he has to work for it.
Well, I think, and also, he might be holding back a little bit because he's fascinated by her.
Yeah.
I mean, who else is
Okay.
able to get that close up to him
Yeah.
at any point in any one of these things, where especially when they're visiting violence on each other, they're trying to fight, and he just kind of like lets her, get right up there, and she jabs him.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I'd go with that.
So it's like, yeah, he's kind of pulling his punches because he's interested in this figure more than he is in the others.
Right.
So there's a size up
Yeah.
that is a non-physical confrontation between Batman and Penguin, or Bruce Wayne
Yeah.
and Penguin.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And then there is a very physical sizing up
Yep.
that Batman allows
Mm-hmm.
with Catwoman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
I
I'm
think-
gonna let her come at me, and
Yeah.
I'll just see what happens.
Right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't go well because he does get beat up a little bit, and
Yep.
I think he
Stuck
realizes
in the side with one of the.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh man, this is not good." Let's see here. What am I looking at?
There's a gnat.
Dinner at 5 p.m. So they're gonna have dinner. The Wayne Mansion looks significantly different than it did in the last movie.
This is the awkward bat date.
Yeah.
I put it in.
The awkward back date.
Oh yes.
Extremely awkward
The two at the so correct me.
Yeah.
Are they at the two ends of this huge?
No, that was
is this the huge table?
was Vicky Vale and
first
Batman.
one.
That was the first
yeah.
movie.
Was it? Okay.
So they're actually in like a nice big like a room with a fireplace, and they're eating like normal
oh
people.
yeah. Okay,
And
okay.
she talks about Alfred, how nice he is, and he's like, yeah, he does. And the conversation drifts into someone that we both thought, well, I thought should have stuck around, Vicky Vale.
Yeah.
So the movie has to address it, because if you don't, it's like, well, where the heck did it
Where's
go?
she at?
Where's she at?
Especially, they're romantically involved at the end of the first one, then poof, she's just
Yeah,
nowhere to
yeah,
be
yeah,
found.
Yeah. So it becomes a moment where he kind of talks it out and says, well, there was the dual personality.
Things didn't work out.
Yeah, things didn't work out because there was two parts of me, and she had two. And it works as dialogue, as explaining what happened, because you don't want to do too much work into it.
But it's so awkward.
Yes,
I
it
mean,
is.
this whole sequence is so, like, the main word is just awkward.
I liked it.
Because the two of them are laying it on so thick about their dual personalities. It's kind of like, come on.
Just say it.
Yeah, just say it.
But
Just
I think,
say it.
But maybe here's the thing, though. Maybe they're trying to get each other to say it. Maybe the game here is, okay, maybe there's a suspicion, because there's no confirmation that they know each other's identities at this time. But maybe, and because Bruce Wayne is funny with Vicky Vale and with like her, he's trying to give them clues, because he loved Vicky Vale, he loved her dearly, and he seems to like and or possibly love Selena Kyle. And whenever in these two movies, within the world rules that we have, Bruce Wayne seems to, when he likes someone in a way that's romantic,
He wants to put down.
he wants them to know.
Yeah.
And but he doesn't have the courage or the wherewithal to come out and say, I'm Batman.
Whoa,
he wants them to guess at the duality, at the two spirit or whatever, and he wants them to figure out. Will they ever do that? No, because it's an attempt on his part to not own his identity. He wants them to make the connection. He doesn't want to be the one to say it. He wants them to go, ooh, you're Batman then, which of course is dumb and won't work.
Yep.
But I don't know. That's a theory. I don't know if it's right, wrong, or indifferent.
I can see that.
Yeah, I think.
I'm just thinking, like, if he's this is weighing on him so much that he just kind of wants to spill these beans in a way,
right.
Because the way he just keeps talking about his double sides, whatever,
yeah.
it's kind of like you need to portray that more. Where like make it harder for him to don the cowl, make it difficult. Where it's like, or maybe he has discussions with Alfred about this dual personality kind of thing.
Well, here's the thing, though. If it's hard to put on the cowl, then because here's what I think. I think Bruce Wayne, and you may agree, I don't know. Bruce Wayne is more comfortable as Batman than he is as Bruce Wayne.
Yes,
it is a
no,
lot.
No, I 100% agree.
I think it's easier for him to get into the cowl and put on the cape and do the Batman than it is to actually be Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I think. What was it? There was either a podcast or something else I was listening to a long time ago, and the commentator, where they were talking about Batman, they said, like, the comment was, Batman's the real person, Bruce Wayne is the mask.
Yeah, I'd go with that too.
I lean towards believing that is more true than anything else about this character.
Right.
Where, like, Batman is the real Batman. That's the figure that we're seeing. Bruce is the mask he has to put on and deal with.
So we are at an hour and 10 minutes.
Wow.
already. So here's
Well,
what
we're getting there.
We're getting there. Here's what we're going to do. This is going to be a two-parter. We're going to stop and we're going to pick back up with part 2. So we have come to our point where we are at the dinner, and they're going to have their different excuses, and
to split up, and then that's a good kind of.
That's a good point to point. It's a good place to slow down and stop and come back again. Back here in the next episode with part 2 of Batman Returns, and it'll be me, Dallas, and James, because we're just going to click the stop button and pick right back up where we left off. So it's been a pleasure, been an honor. We will see you.
Take care, everybody.
Later.
The raspberry flop of ours will be out in a moment. The kitchen is closed.
You've been listening to the Nerds by Screenlight podcast, presented by Create at Morgan Productions, located in Fort Morgan, Colorado, USA. For more information on our production house, other podcasts hosted here, and further details, please visit www.createatmorgan.org. You can find us on Twitter at the handle CreateAtMorgan. Create at Morgan is a school club at Lincoln High School, our alternative education campus in Morgan County. Our sponsor is Aaron DeLay, a language arts teacher at Lincoln. Send any feedback to adelayedteacher@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to our podcast.